Impromptu coach just so happens to be the vice principal at my school. So I would go to her office once every week, 7 days a week. And when I arrived at her office, sometimes the other people in the office didn't exactly know what I was doing in the vice principal's office. So what ended up happening was one day my counselor comes up to me and says, "Tina, are you okay? Because is there something I should know about seeing you come to the vice principal's office so often?" Well, yeah, I came to the office so many times that it became a little bit concerning to the people around me. And that is where ambition actually takes you. When you want to get better at something, you come in over and over again, and you work at something over and over again in order to get better at it. And that's what I tried to do for Impromptu. And what happened was I had this ambition to become better at Impromptu, and I worked at it, to the extent that some people were a little concerned. And we see that this actually occurs in many different people's lives. When they have something they are passionate about, they have this ambition, this drive to become better and good at it. And we see this in Malcolm Gladwell's idea of this 10,000-hour rule. This 10,000-hour rule basically states that if you spend 10,000 hours and dedicate 10,000 hours of your life to an object, to an idea, or to an action, you will indeed become an expert at it. We see he gives this example of a man named Matthew Thompson. Although we may not be very familiar with this name, he is actually in each and every one of our cell phones, in that television over there as well as that laptop. We see that he actually wrote the fundamental code that builds so much of what we have in our internet devices these days. And we see that how did he get here? Well, when the computer was first invented, it was not necessarily something that compact. It was something that would fill a room like this. And the only way that he could get better at coding was to walk into this room and work hard, day and night. As a college student, he sacrificed much of his other life in order to sacrifice time to coding. And what happened was, he generated so much for the rest of us. And he left his footprint on the internet devices that we use today. We can look at Major League Baseball player Andy Schumer as an example as well. Andy Schumer has this idea of a steal swing. It's what most baseball fans like to call the golden swing because it is so perfectly executed and so consistently executed. When asked, "How did you get such a perfect swing?" he responded, "Practice." 600 times a night he would swing. He would swing his bat 600 times a night in order to fulfill his ambition to become one of the best baseball players ever. He would swing his bat 600 times a night for a full entire season. That is dedication, and that is where ambition drives you. It pushes you past how hard you work. It pushes you past these boundaries and borders. And we see that here, ambition drove him to this. My last example is a ballerina. Her name is Ashley Bauer. She is one of the lead principal dancers at the New York City Ballet, and she is also one of the youngest principal dancers. And how did she get here? And it was ambition and practice, which led to this ambition. We see that since she was about this little, she had started dancing. And she dedicated so much of her life because she had this ambition. She went to ballet class every single day, and we see that this is how she got better. This is how she perfected her dance. And we realize that she definitely lost a lot of her life, being a teenager, not being able to go hang out with your friends, but having to go to ballet class, not being able to do schoolwork with perhaps a study buddy. But we see that this was her ambition, and her ambition drove her to work hard. Her ambition drove her to repeat her actions. And we see that this ended up leading to her absolute success in ballet. So through my 3 examples of Matthew Thompson, Andy Schumer, and Ashley Bauer, we see that they had an ambition. They had a goal, and they knew where they wanted to go. So they pushed themselves repeatedly, time and time again, beyond our imagination in order to get there. Ambition is something that drives us, and that is extremely important and something that we need in life in order to work towards a goal. And we see that it pushes us beyond our boundaries and is something very good. Thank you.